Before any of you say anything, yes, I did start a new world because I fucking died in the other one, and I did not feel it necessary to continue that one considering how far I didn't get. So, we're starting over, but I promise we're gonna stick with this one. Since my last video, things in my life have been going, I mean, they weren't ever going bad, but they're certainly going, at least just a little better, than my last video. I sent in my application for the exchange student program, and I am anxiously waiting to hear back from them. I went to Seattle yesterday, and I went to the Hokusai art exhibit. That was one of the coolest fucking places I've ever been in my entire life. If you live in the Seattle area and can afford to do something like go to an art exhibit, I would super duper recommend it. There was tons of cool shit there. As far as I'm aware, all of the works on display there are the, like, original paintings done by these, like, 300-year-old Japanese artists. Hokusai is the guy that made the Great Wave, and it's not all about him, it's about some of his students too. But it's really, really cool, and I saw a lot of really nice artwork there, including the first ever tentacle hentai ever created in history. And that was probably the high point of the day. Of course, other than the man who, immediately after I got out of the ferry terminal with my group, came stumbling down the street towards us going, "Welcome to Seattle, motherfuckers, you dumb, ugly motherfuckers, I fucking hate you, fuck you." That was pretty cool. I liked that guy, I liked his vibe, it was a good vibe. I finished my first ever quarter of college, which, feels very surreal to say. But I'm not quite out of the loop yet, or out of trouble yet. I have another week and a couple days or so before winter break for my high school classes start. I'm in dual enrollment. So, I have a bit before I can really kind of sit down and start working on stuff, but over my extended winter break, I plan on getting a lot of stuff done. The Making Sense of Violence video will probably be... The Making Sense of Violence video will probably be out, before Christmas, which is cool. I can't think of a more appropriate video for Christmas. But for now, I'm taking it easy. I took a day off of high school today to just kind of sit back and relax, because I haven't really had a 2-day weekend in a long time, and now I'm here talking to you guys. Before I say anything else, I really want to say thank you to the people who supported me in my last video. I was not having too great of a time when that came out, and it really helped me process, making that video really helped me process a lot of the stuff going through my head. And the support from you guys was way, 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 way more than I ever thought that it was going to be. So, thank you. I really, really, I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. You guys are all so sweet to me. I appreciate all the kind words that you guys gave. On the subject of the last video, though, I turned it in for my my podcasting class, and they loved it. They liked it way, way more than I thought they would. And they were definitely a little caught off guard by the fact that it was a completely different format than I had been working on all quarter. But they were really, really nice and helpful to me, and my podcasting teacher said that he really, really liked it and enjoyed the way that I handled it. And I got a really good grade on that, so I'm very, very happy about that at the moment. I don't know how things will go once I hear back from the exchange student program. If I do get accepted, I hope that there isn't, like, an interview process of any kind, although there probably is, because I'm gonna be incredibly nervous for that. I don't really know how to... Okay, that's not true. I do know my way around an interview. It's the fact that I don't know how to talk to whoever I'm being interviewed by without sounding like a weeb. I am going to Japan. That's the goal. I really want to go to Japan. But as a lot of my friends know, I don't really watch a whole lot of anime. I mostly just play Japanese video games and do Japanese martial arts. And so I'm a little scared that, you know, people in that room while I'm being interviewed will think like, oh, this guy's just a weeb. Because I am sure they get so many fucking weebs coming in and being like,
can you send me to the Nihon, please? I would like to visit my anime waifu Asuka in real life.
Because that shit is rampant in this world. But at the end of the day, you know, when push comes to shove, I think my best bet is to just be honest with them and just tell them, you know, why I want to go to Japan and what my goal is while I'm there, which, I'm starting to realize my goal is pretty much just learn more about myself and other people by being in another place for an extended period of time. Whether or not that's a good idea is still hotly debated in the space that is my brain. But you know, me and the many little tiny voices are starting to reach a conclusion. As far as YouTube goes, I have upgraded my setup, as you can probably tell, after the last video, and what was a slightly painful editing process. I finally bit the fucking bullet and got a Blue Yeti. And it sounds great. It sounds pretty good right now, and I don't even have it set up for like narrative recording at the moment. But I tested that setup out, and oh boy, does that... It sounds so fucking good. I never thought I'd have a microphone that sounds that good without paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in software and computer hardware and microphone stands and all sorts of that crazy shit. Hey guys, this is Editing Callan here. I just figured I'd show you the quality on the narration setup for the microphone. In case you don't know what this is. This is the Chaotica eyeball. It's basically just a big foam ball with a pop filter on the front that goes around your microphone. And it sounds really good. Like, it sounds great. 10 out of 10 would recommend if you're looking to get into YouTube narration, but yeah, this shit sounds sick. I love this. Back to the video. But I do, and it's really, really nice. And I got it for cheap. I think the Blue Yeti is on sale on Amazon right now for a pretty decent chunk off. So if any of you are trying to be content creators, I would skip over the cheap mic, and I would just go straight for the Blue Yeti, because it's really, really nice. I still don't know what my content would look like if I went to Japan. I know for a fucking fact I will continue to make shit. It's just a matter of what I'm able to make while I'm there. As far as content, I've been leaning towards kind of a daily or weekly vlog setup type deal. Just because, you know, fucking that's the easiest kind of content to make when you're abroad like that. All I'll need is a decent quality video camera, and I already have the microphone for any narration segments, so that shouldn't be too hard. I don't know if I could ever forgive myself if I became a fucking vlogging channel. But sometimes there are sacrifices that you can't avoid and you have to end up making, and I feel like this is probably one of those times where, like, alright, I'll bite the bullet, I'll do this thing that I said I would probably never do, and I'm just gonna do it. Might as well, fuck, I don't know. I'm not gonna be any less lost or confused when I get there, so just trying out new shit might as well be my new deal. There was a lot of people that commented on my last video, with a lot of their issues, that are either the same or similar to mine. And to those people, if you're watching this video now, you know who you are. I have definitely read and responded to your comment, and I'm thinking of you, and I'm really hoping that you follow your hearts and you do what you think will make you happy, and that if you do that, things will end up getting better for you. For now, at least, Minecraft is gonna be my kind of default game to play while I make these videos. The next one is definitely gonna be something else, probably Monster Hunter, because I know that that's something that I have a lot to say about Monster Hunter. But for now, you're just gonna have to put up with Minecraft. I know that it was probably one of the better choices I could have gone with, just YouTube algorithm-wise, because the fucking second I put Minecraft in a thumbnail, that shit went actually bonkers wild. I think the last video is now the second most viewed video on my channel, the first one being the Yume Nikki video, which I made a little under a year ago now, which is still crazy to me, because every time I look at that video and I see that it has however many thousands of views, and then I watch it myself again, I'm like, fuck, this is ass. Why would anybody watch this or like this? But as my friend Timber pointed out, I very much tapped into an audience with that video that rarely sees content produced on them, and so any video made on Yume Nikki is like basically destined from the start to get a decent amount of attention from that community, because it's just, what, once every 3 months somebody makes a fucking Yume Nikki video or something, and so it's just guaranteed to go at least a little wild in that regard. I definitely think my biggest regret so far in making content is that I took so long to produce another video after the Yume Nikki one, and so I kind of lost a lot of the traction that I had gained from that. The one after that, I think, is the Making Sense of Conception video. That video is one of my favorites that I've made, and I'm glad that other people seem to like it, because that script literally killed me to write. Condensing any video game down to just under 3 pages worth of script is a pretty monumental task, but condensing fucking Bloodborne down to just under 3 pages of script is a Herculean task that I am not willing to undergo ever again. Any videos I make about From Software titles from now on are going to be their own thing, and I'm not just gonna make them a smaller segment in a larger video ever again. That was such a fucking bad idea on my part. I think I rewrote the Bloodborne part of that video at least 5 or 6 times before I settled on the final product, which is crazy because I've never done that many script rewrites for anything ever. Normally I have to do max maybe 1 or 2 rephrasings of a couple sentences for a script, or just like, I don't know, change something around or add a little bit more to a segment that feels a little underdeveloped. but the Bloodborne part, man, that was like 5 rewrites, and it's all just because condensing that lore about Queen Yarnum and the old ones and the kind of overarching story of Bloodborne down into a kind of manageable chunk is it's so hard to do. I don't think most people would be able to do that while providing the kind of retrospective I did. Let alone somebody like me who at the time was very not used to writing scripts for videos. But that brings me to my next point that I wanted to talk about in this one, which is I don't think in the future I'm going to be doing fully scripted videos like that anymore. Instead, I'm going to be doing more casual video essays where I do kind of what I'm doing now, but I'll have it be a lot more scripted and I'll have it be a lot more planned out. Sort of how I think Wendigoon does something similar. I don't think he fully writes down his scripts. I think he just has kind of bullet points off to the side. Fuck, I don't like that noise. Ooh, that's why I don't like that noise. I don't want to run into skeletons right now. Oh, ow, my fucking ass. But in terms of future video essays, I definitely have a couple. I definitely have a couple ideas. I for sure want to do one on Monster Hunter at some point. Not necessarily about, like the gameplay or the story, because there isn't really a story to a lot of the Monster Hunter games. It's kind of most of them are kind of almost standalone functions. But one thing that Monster Hunter does really, really well is make people feel a certain way and produce a world that really ignites a lot of this feeling of discovery in people. That's very, very hard to find in other games. It's you don't really get that sense of wonder and amazement from any game other than Monster Hunter. At least I don't. And so I want to make a video on the ways in which Monster Hunter creates those feelings within its players, and how it works and why it works, and how other people doing world building or making a fantasy setting can produce something of quality using similar tactics to Monster Hunter. Because I really think it is just this peak of game design and world design that hasn't really been imitated since. For anybody wondering, any Monster Hunter fans watching this video, yes, I saw the trailer for the new game coming out in 2025, which 2025 is going to be a fucking bonkers year for game development and gaming just as a whole. But I'm very, very excited. If your only complaint about something is that you're sad you have to wait a long time to get it, then it's probably not gonna be bad. I really think that Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be the best game in the series ever, just because it, from what we've seen of it, from the very, very limited trailer that we got, it kind of throws aside a lot of the limitations that were holding the Monster Hunter series back before. Because Monster Hunter has always been very, very good with its design and manner of... Oh, jeez. and manner of world building. But its primary hindrance, the thorn in its side, its Achilles heel, has been technical limitations. And what do I mean by that? Well, what I mean by technical limitations is that Monster Hunter is a game revolved around highly complex ecosystems and cultures and animals and environments that require a lot of computing power to propagate. And so, back when the series started in 2003, that they did not have the technology to recreate that shit faithfully. It just did not exist. Most game consoles at the time would probably fucking actually catch fire and explode if you tried to play anything from the past 10 years on them, let alone something from 2 years in the future from now, where our computing power is even fucking crazier than it is at the time of recording this video. And so they've always found ways of kind of coping with it. In the past, the biggest method of coping with it has been having really, really strong character designs and lore for all of the monsters kind of hidden away, as well as forcing players to do a lot of preparation for their hunts to kind of get them psyched up and in the mood and kind of in the zone come time for the main gameplay loop to happen. And I've noticed that as time has gone on, especially with this last generation of Monster Hunter games, that preparation aspect is much less needed to create a sense of immersion. Because you look at Monster Hunter on the PS2, that shit looks like it was drawn on an actual potato in like some poor Irish orphanage somewhere. And then you look at Monster Hunter World, and it's holy shit, dude. Like, talk about the biggest glow up of all time for a game series. Seriously. The only other thing I can think of is like fucking Mario. I don't know. And so as time has gone on and the computing power of the average gamer has gotten higher, they've been able to kind of put aside a lot of those smaller, more classical game stuff motifs, and they've been able to put them away and bring other aspects of immersion way closer to the forefront. Like Monster Hunter World, everywhere you go, there are little animals skittering around on the ground. There are... Oh fuck, I heard that. Oh god, get away from me. There's little animals skittering around on the ground. There's... Oh fuck, I am so dicked. I can tell already. There are little animals skittering around on the ground. There's tons of shit going on everywhere. The plants move and breathe and do all sorts of crazy shit. Monsters have behaviors and they leave tracks that you follow, and your means in moving around the environment just, you know, where it used to be you just kind of, you know, you're on a 2D plane that you walk on and you press fucking square for heavy attack or square for light attack and no. How does Monster Hunter go? Where you press, where it used to be that you press triangle or circle or whatever for an attack and the attack happens and then you dodge and you move around. It's very quickly evolved into something a lot more in-depth with climbing and movement and different ways of traversing your environment and outsmarting and kind of out-gaming your opponent, which gives you knowing your way around your environment in the newer Monster Hunter games is, I would argue, probably the biggest advantage that you can have in any situation. You know, a monster might catch you off guard, or it might be something new that you've never fought before. But if you know that you can sling a rock up towards the ceiling and it'll knock a stalactite down and Jesus and make the monster fall over so that you have a window of escape, then you are automatically put at an advantage against that monster. So yeah, in case my rant from the kind of middle of the last video wasn't indicative enough, I really love Monster Hunter. But something that I have been made aware of is that the people in the comments of my videos are really, really good at telling me about games. Holy shit. Did this place get fucking drone striked? What happened? Jesus Christ. The people in my comments are really, really good at recommending deep, interesting games to talk about in a video essay format. I first heard about Milk Inside a Bag of Milk from a commenter on one of my videos. Another of them talked about a game called the Indigo Parallel, which I fully plan on buying and playing soon just because it looks so... like, I don't know, this looks like something I should be making a video about if I haven't already. But I'm always looking in the comments for new ideas for stuff, so if any of you just... some niche game that you know, don't really see talked about ever that you've played and you enjoy or you've heard of, just fucking throw it out there. Please, I'm begging you. There's not a more difficult part of creating content than actually finding stuff to make content about. So I really appreciate any of the help that I can get in that dimension. As far as this series goes, however, I'm definitely gonna be... I'm gonna try my fucking hardest to get one of these videos out every week if I'm not already working on another video at the same time. I typically sit down and kind of get stuff done all at once instead of kind of spacing it out, which probably does not do wonders for my creative burnout issue, but that's not gonna stop me if I'm being totally honest with you and myself here. So next week, you probably won't get one of these videos from me. Instead, hopefully, cross my fingers, you'll be getting the Making Sense of Violence video, remade and remastered, re-recorded for a grand YouTube premiere. And I hope you guys, honestly, I actually don't think I give too much of a fuck if people really watch that. Whoa. A shipwreck right next to a goddamn ruined portal? Holy shit, this seat is fucking crazy. I honestly don't give a shit if people watch the Making Sense of Violence one. I just feel this really strong need to get it done, because if I don't, I know it's gonna haunt me forever. So I'm just gonna get it over with and get that video out. And even if it's subpar or whatever, I'm sure I'll be able to do something with it. I'll probably spend a lot of tomorrow piecing together a final draft of the script and hoping that it comes out okay. But you guys just fucking sit tight and you'll probably get something soon. If any of you guys watching this video have a foreign exchange experience, doesn't really matter where, just I'd love to hear about it. Everyone's experience is different and unique, and a lot of people have gone to a lot of different places. I have a friend who is trying to go to Africa for a year year of college, and holy shit, if you thought Japan was a different place to America, try Africa. That's a whole new... Is that a fucking ocean temple down there? It is. Goddamn. I have to... Hold on. I need to write these coordinates down. Jesus. Never mind. I'm not going to remember that. Oh, well, what if I... F3, F2...
Snake, are you okay? Snake?
Don't fucking scare me like that, dude. God damn. Oh. Anyways, sorry, that really scared the hell out of me. Yeah, I want to hear your guys' experiences. Let me know how it went, how it, if you're in the middle of it right now, if you have tips, tricks, things I should bring with me. Fuck, I don't know. I can't just trust the raw internet tutorials, you know, top 10 things you should bring for a long stay in a foreign country. Like that's bound to give me some sort of misinformation. And I think that first-hand experiences are the best thing that I can get right now in terms of preparing me for what's to come. I need to find a place with a pretty good village, and I need to start building a house. I don't remember what the exact statistic is, but there's some crazy increase between the likelihood of, like, the length of days in Minecraft gone without dying and building a house. Like, if you aren't building a house and you're kind of just running around looking for a place to build a house, you're a lot more likely to die. But if you do actually build a house and have some sort of protection for yourself, oh hey, there's the cave I was talking about. If you do actually build a house for yourself, you're a lot less likely to die because you're kind of sticking around this one general area a lot of the time. And on top of being a lot less likely to die, god damn, that is really pretty generation. I don't even care if there isn't a village near here. I have to build my house here. Even if you do die, you're a lot closer to where you died. So the chances of, okay, there isn't. All right, I'm sorry. I promise I'll stick with the explanation. Oh shit. Whoever the fuck invented Minecraft shaders is getting into heaven for real. Like, I mean that. Like, oh my god. Jesus! Okay, fuck! Can there please just be a village somewhere? Like, since the fucking first world that I did, I haven't run into a single one this entire time. I swear to God, it's an actual, like, desire sensor. The second you decide to look for the thing that normally you do not want to look for, that bitch just goes away. Holy shit. Is that a village? Oh my god. Fucking finally. Fucking finally. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. I'm gonna fucking... oh my god, okay. Okay, let's see what's up. I'm not so sure your house is up to code, dude. This looks a little bit dangerous. I fucked that up. I don't know how I did that. Well, I think this is about as good as it's gonna get for the remainder of the episode. I'm not quite sure what I thought I was doing with this, but it ended up pretty good. I'm actually pretty happy with the final product. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with this. The weird thing about playing Minecraft is that somehow it is simultaneously always changing and yet staying the same no matter what happens to it. And I know that that sounds like some crazy new age bullshit, but like, hear me out on this, right? You have this game that is, I think, the most successful game of all time, and if not that, I think in the top 10s at the very least, that everyone that I know has either heard of or played themselves, and it's this unanimous piece of cultural history and literacy that we've all dealt with for over a decade now. And it changes all the time, you know, we like to joke about it, but Minecraft, things about this game change relatively frequently. And at the same time, whenever you log on to Minecraft, it's this just pure nostalgic feeling of, ah, we're here. This all feels so familiar. And that's coming from somebody, I hear a lot of people complain of like, oh, this doesn't really, you know, this isn't what Minecraft used to be. I've been playing this shit since the beta days, since the days when this game looked like a fucking actual kindergartner's drawing shit smear on a fucking piece of construction paper in a classroom somewhere. And somehow, even though side by side, this game and that game that existed over a decade ago are so different, it all feels really similar. I think it takes a lot to really create something that matches that description. Of course, that does, you know, run with the risk of the kind of gentle nostalgia that this game offers being corrupted rather easily. There's a lot of moments in these games where you're playing them and it's late at night and you're kind of alone and you hear something, or more, even scarier than that, you don't hear anything. And you look around, and even though this is a virtual space with virtual monsters, you always kind of feel safe. But sometimes you just stop and look around and, like, am I really alone right now? Like, am I actually alone right now? Because something about this game has the ability to just paranoid the shit out of me. And I don't know why that is. But as somebody who I've been consuming horror media since I was probably way too young to be doing so. In a way, in a weird kind of twisted way, that sense of fear that a lot of people feel when they're playing Minecraft sometimes is very oddly comforting to me. And I know I'm not alone in that regard. I know a lot of people view the kind of somber liminality of Minecraft as a comfort that they can rely on, and that, you know, it's something that people really think about when they think about Minecraft. And that's just so beautiful. I cannot begin to explain the beauty of liminal spaces. Sure they've like taken over the internet as a trend, like, ooh, you know, fucking Cane Pixels, Backrooms, fucking all these other liminal things, analog horror, Jerma Susface. But, like, I don't know. I feel like it's important that we all collectively stop for a moment every now and again and just acknowledge, like, man, this aesthetic, whatever it is, whatever people call it at whatever time in which it exists, is one of the most powerful things that the human mind can possibly deal with. It's this strong, just absolutely primal feeling that everyone has to a certain degree or another. And that's so weird, because reality is so subjective. People experience the world in a million different ways depending on who they are and their brain chemistry and a million billion other factors. But everybody that I've met, at least, is capable of feeling this strange, I don't know, absence of time and nature and all real logic that we understand this world to abide by, and it manifests in the form of these liminal spaces. And sometimes we choose to actively be afraid of them, like the backrooms. You know, people point to the backrooms as a primary example of horror done incredibly well. But then in other cases, it's this nostalgic kind of need for this, I guess, comfort that a lot of us have lost over time. And I don't really have an answer as to why that is. I don't have an answer as to why these liminal spaces are so dualistic in nature and how they can represent this horror as well as this incredibly comforting, somber reality at the same time. But I think the fact that that phenomenon exists says something pretty telling about the nature of our existence. We all right now clearly long for a time that was far simpler than the world is right now, with all of its coronaviruses and skibbity toilets and a million billion other factors that we all have to cope with as a collective every day. And that manifests in these terrifying concepts of liminality and loneliness and isolation. But we've kind of turned a point here to where that liminality and that terror that people have come to associate with it is almost a comforting reality to the people that choose to view it. And I think that is a beautiful thing. Very quickly, I'm realizing that the world that I have kind of inhabited and lived in and gotten used to and kind of figured out over the past little chapter of my life is changing. Whatever point I'm at, wherever I was at the start of this school year is a different world than the one I'm currently living in now. And that's a scary thing for me to cope with, because while I welcome change and all of these things with open arms, because I've been through change before, and I've kind of looked it in the face and I've accepted it. That doesn't really make it any less scary, you know? Bravery is not the absence of fear. It's looking at something scary and choosing to do it anyways. And I'm trying to be brave, and I'm trying to, by, you know, talking about these experiences that I'm having as a developing person, I wanna accomplish a couple different things. The biggest thing is that I want people who are my age going through kind of similar experiences to me. I want those people to feel like they have someone else that they can relate to, and that they feel is having a similar experience to them, and so they feel less alone in the world. Because I remember when I was going through previously large changes in my existence, oh boy, did it not help that I felt very, very, very alone in the world. But I also want to remind older people that may be going through another change in their world, or that maybe they've kind of forgotten what this feeling of change is. I want to remind them of what that is and what that felt like, so that if they have younger people in their life trying to get shit figured out, they do it in a empathetic and responsible manner, because it's very, very easy for the comments and views and perspectives of an older person to hurt that of somebody younger than them. And I'm not just saying that, like, I really mean it. I don't know if there are any, you know, teachers or anything watching this video. But if there are, I hope you realize how much weight your actions has on the future of the students who pass through your life. Everything you say is being weighed in their minds at any given moment, and if you say even one thing that fucks them up, it's gonna fuck them up. Like, there's no, and I mean, no pressure, you know, try your best, no one's perfect, but really, really consider the things you say before they leave your lips, and really think about, you know, how could a younger version of myself interpret what I'm about to say? Because it is real easy to fuck up little kids, alright? That shit happened to me in 8th grade, and it was bad. I remember that was the year where my depression, and my issues with suicide and suicidal ideations kind of hit a peak, and it was a daily occurrence for me to seriously consider ending my life. And when I was in 8th grade, it was the COVID year. That's when COVID was happening and school was being done through Zoom. Or in the case of my school, very small, limited groups of students called cohorts, where you would kind of crowd together into one classroom, and the teachers would come to you, and the teachers the ones that would rotate versus you rotating kind of freely among different groups of kids throughout the day. And I remember our homeroom teacher, the one that was kind of supposed to be in charge of our emotional growth and development and learning, I think she knew that a lot of us were really, really struggling with our mental health, because all of us were. Every single person that I know that was in that class was struggling with their mental health at the time, and fuck, most of them still are. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say that I'm completely out of the woods yet in terms of the mental illness battle. but I especially wasn't out of the woods back then. And I remember it so clearly because it was one of those moments where I was able to kind of snap out of the mindset of a little kid and think like, man, this person really needs to reconsider what they're saying and how they're interacting with these kids. It was the first class of the morning. All of us are horrifically sad because we have to be at school, but at the same time, while we're forced to be at school, we can't be with our friends or really see family or get close to anyone or experience really any of the normal joys of human experience or interaction. And God, I remember it so clearly. I'll call her Mrs. Jones. Miss Jones said, you know, I know things are hard right now, which, you know, put a lot of us on a kind of empathetic note, like, oh, she's gonna say something sweet to us. She's gonna say something that, you know, kind of uplifts us, and we're all a little hopeful. And she just goes, I know things are hard right now, but you guys just need to suck it up. Like, this doesn't matter. You guys are teenagers, your feelings don't mean anything, you're all hormonal and emotional. You just need to suck it up and get through this. Because all of you are failing this class right now. And if you don't get your act together, there's going to be some serious issues around here. And that was a fucking breaking point for, like, half of the kids in that class. I started to break down crying because this person that was, you know, I thought of as older and wiser than me in that moment was basically telling me that my feelings and my emotions didn't mean anything and that they, you know, should be ignored altogether. And not only me, but all the other kids in the class started to really cry too. We all just kind of put our heads down on our desks and started sobbing quietly. And I think she realized Miss Jones had realized that she fucked up at that point. Because she very, very quickly changed the subject to something else, whatever the homework was for that day, I think. And I think about that moment a lot whenever I hear people talking about, you know, oh, just do, you know, how something in the life of a young child can affect them so drastically. Because we were 8th graders, we were almost high schoolers, so we had the ability to think for ourselves, and we all, after, you know, an initial moment of grief, we all kind of came together as a group and were like, hey, what she just said is bullshit. Like, that is a fucking terrible thing that woman just said to us. But if we were like 4th graders, I can't imagine, you know, people wonder why Gen Alpha is not doing fucking great in the education department right now. Maybe it's because a lot of those kids were stuck in classrooms with shitty teachers that didn't care about them, and for an entire year, and that basically just reset them entirely on their development. Maybe that's the fucking reason behind it, not because of some stupid Gmod meme. And I can't, I'm sure that you can tell that I'm getting a little bit angry just thinking about teachers that do that. And I think the reason why I want to be a teacher so bad is because I know that I will try harder than Miss Jones did that day, and that I will ensure that my students, whoever they may be, have somebody, you know, older and more experienced than them that doesn't frown on their struggles and doesn't belittle them and just says, you know, hey, I get it. this shit is tough. But in this class that I'm giving you, I'm not just teaching you, I'm not just teaching you facts for the sake of teaching you facts. I'm teaching you these things so that later in life when you encounter issues, you know how to handle them. You know how to make sense of the world that we live in. Because, goddamn, is it so confusing as a kid. And it really breaks my fucking heart thinking about all of the kids in this world that were never given teachers that cared about them. Or were never given adults or older people in their lives who really cared about them and wanted to help them with their struggles and could empathize with them and give them the tools to understand and move past them. I'm extremely lucky that I have always had a very, very strong supportive network of friends and family and people who really care about me. But I know that not everybody has that. I would trade everything in my life if it meant that kids who were in the same situation that I was in receive the chance to just have a person in their life who loves them and cares about them and is supportive of their needs. Because fuck, I see it so often. I not only do I see it, 4K caught on camera in front of me all the time as I go to a public high school, but I see the results of it in my personal life. I meet adults. Fuck, I'm a retail worker, you know what I mean? I encounter more people on a daily basis than most people do in a week. And I meet these people and they'll come to the store and they'll complain about some inane bullshit, or they'll clearly be on some sort of substance that can't possibly be doing their brain any favors. And I just think, like, what would have happened if back in time everything in your life was exactly the same as it was to make you end up here now, but you just had one supportive person, one adult, one teacher, not even necessarily a school teacher, just somebody who teaches you things. How would this individual be a different person, a better person than they are now, or somebody who's at the very least struggling less than they are, if they just had one person who stopped and was willing to understand and empathize and give them the tools to move forward in life? That's something that I think about literally constantly. And I think when people ask me, everybody, a late night chat with the boys inevitably gets philosophical. And when the question of, what's the meaning of life? What's your purpose in life comes up? I always make the point that I think everybody has to find their own purpose, and that there's no way to let other people tell you what your purpose is or decide for you what you want to do. And inevitably when I say that, people ask me, okay, well, what do you think your purpose is? And I really think that beyond some, beyond God or any sort of religion or spirituality, I feel like I was put here on this earth to be that person, to be that just empathetic, caring teacher that, makes a difference in kids' lives. Because if I don't do it, who else is gonna do it? Not Miss Jones. Miss Jones probably isn't even halfway to fucking retirement right now. And so I don't know who else, how many more kids in my town she's gonna haunt with her ghoulish personality for how many years that's gonna go on. And you have no idea how many teachers there are in this world. Not teachers as in people who teach, teachers as in people who work at schools and their job description is teachers. You have no idea how many of those people are mean, bitter assholes that are only there because they couldn't get a job doing something else, and they make it everyone else's problem. They make it every student who just happens to have the misfortune of ending up in their class, they make it their problem. And that is so unbelievably fucked up to me. And when I think about something that makes me angry, kids having their love of learning and life and existence forced out of them by evil teachers who just don't really care or don't... They just can't take the time out of their day to give a shit about these kids. That's what I think makes me just the angriest in life. How many kids do you think Miss Jones has fucked over in her life? How many? Because there's at least, you know, I'm from a small town in the Pacific Northwest. There's at least like 80 kids per graduatory class in my school per like generation of kids. And she's been working there for at least as long as I've been alive. So that's what? Fucking hold on, let me run the math. 1,280 kids have passed through her class in the past 16 years. And of those 1,280 kids, how many of them do you think needed that support in their life? That needed that person that they didn't have at home and that they didn't have anywhere else or anywhere else that they're at? How many of those kids do you think needed that person and were denied it all because Miss Jones decided that she was gonna have a bad day and yell at kids for feeling their feelings? Whatever that number is, even if it's just one kid, that is way too fucking high to be acceptable in my eyes. And it is most certainly my mission in life to make sure that no kid that ever passes through my class has to deal with that. I'm realizing that I've spent a good chunk of this video talking about very, very sad things. And I actually, you know, contrary to what many of you may believe, I actually really don't want these videos to be super sad. So I think it's about time I talk about some shit that makes me happy, makes me smile in this world. The biggest thing among those right now, that many of my viewers, most of my viewers actually, who are American are experiencing right now, is that it's winter break. Very soon. If not for you right now, it will be very soon. Which, cherish your winter breaks, because good God can they go by fast. And I personally am very, very excited for mine. I'm gonna get a lot done. I know that for a fact, and I'm not just saying that. I'm pretty good at actually getting shit done when I say I'm actually gonna get shit done. And among those things, I am getting the Making Sense of Violence video out. It's happening. Even if it, you know, takes me 2 times longer than expected, which I don't really think it will. I'm getting it out over the next 2 weeks, at least before the new year. And oh boy, am I worried that you guys won't like it. But you know what? It might just work. It might just, despite my irrational fears and concerns, it might just be my best video essay yet. Who knows? I'm always looking for things to make videos on. But on the topic of winter break and free time, I'm very, very excited to just spend time with my loved ones, because these last 4 months of college and high school have just been exhausting. A lot of the people who know me in my personal life who are watching this will know what I'm talking about. I haven't really gotten too much of a chance to hang out with people or talk or do much since college started. And now that the winter quarter is finally over, I'll have at least a brief window to kind of catch up on things and spend some time being around people that I love and care about, and kind of, you know, catching up on things that I missed. I hope the people watching this are able to enjoy a nice kind of relaxing Christmas break with your loved ones as well. It's more important than you realize to get as much of that time in as you can when you have the chance to get it. 'Cause man, will you start to regret it after a little while if you don't really focus on that. At the end of the day, I think all that really matters in life is how happy you feel and how happy, you know, your presence in the world makes others feel. And if you don't have, if you're not taking the time to spend, you know, evenings and nights and mornings with the people who love you, and they do love you, even if you're a person who thinks that you physically have nobody in this world left, which I know there's gonna be fucking one of yous down in the comments, you're full of shit. I guarantee you there is at least one person in your life who actually does really care about you and wants to see you be okay. Unless you are just the most horrendous piece of shit, which I really don't think anybody watching this video is, if I'm being fully honest with myself. There's somebody who cares about you. And if there isn't anyone who cares about you, take some time and meet some of those people who would care about you if you knew them. I think that's an important thing. I'm a little unfortunate. I live in a very, very small town. Not a lot of people. And my options as far as people who I can meet and make friends with in my age range and kind of general interest groups is very, very, very limited. At least in comparison to a lot of people who are probably watching this. So I hope that you, hearing this, if you haven't already, really take the time out of your day to make someone else's life better, or meet someone else, or just interact with people in a kind of positive way. I think that's the thesis for today's video. If I had to pick a thesis for today's video, it's spending time with the people that are around you and that you love and are important to you, or even people who you don't necessarily know, but you know, you could know them, and there could be some spark of chemistry between you two, romantically or platonically or familially or however many other adjective type of ways. Make time for those people and make time for yourselves. With that, trying to do an outro. With that, I need to get somewhere. This feels like a pretty good spot, I'd say. Thank you to everybody who watched this video. I really appreciate it. Like it, comment it, subscribe, well, all the YouTube things. Go tell me what you liked about it in the comments. And remember to spend time with people. Thank you all so much for watching. I promise the next upload you see from me will be something different, and not just another one of these long-winded ramblings of mine, but regardless, I hope you enjoyed the video. And with that, it's late at night, and I'll see you guys next time.